He's so well bred. He's Mr. Potato Head. He's more fun than any spud should be.
Although it's far from his first foray into screen media, Mr. Potato Head's appearance in the Toy Story movies is by far his most iconic. Brought to life by the late great Don Rickles, this hot-headed spud quickly became my favourite of the original crew. Bizarrely, however, despite being one of few characters actually based on a pre-existing toy, Mr. Potato Head's real-life counterparts tend to do a pretty crappy job of capturing his on-screen appearance. While it's fairly easy to get a decently movie-accurate version of Slinky Dog, Barbie, or Barrel of Monkeys, an official movie-accurate Mr. Potato Head kinda just doesn't exist. I think this phenomenon is largely due to the fact that the actual film model is kind of a weird specimen, disregarding its magically appearing butt flap, inconsistent hole count, and sometimes detachable eyebrows. Its overall design is just a hodgepodge of various iterations of the real toy, featuring the body style of the 1990s with the parts layout of the 70s, the bendy rubber arms of the 80s which are in turn removable like the 90s version, and the semi-realistic facial features of the 70s stylized in the cartoon aesthetic of the 80s. A tangled web of design influences make Mr. Potato Head something of an anomaly, with how close most other characters stick to the look of their real-world counterparts. Given Toy Story's smash success, Hasbro was quick to capitalize on their IP's appearance in the movie, predictably in the most half-assed way possible. Their movie tie-in consisted of the standard 90s body accompanied by a bunch of pre-existing pieces to create something that just barely resembled the film.
How's the unibrow?
To be fair, this initial release included a lot of extra accessories to up the play value, though this slowly dwindled down to the standard tongue and glasses as Hasbro pumped this set out over and over again for the next 20 years. Give or take a few small changes such as the transition from a rubber hat to a hard plastic one, for the longest time this was the only way to get your favourite character from Toy Story.
You're goddamn right.
In the lead up to the third movie, a new wave of Toy Story merch began to roll out onto shelves, same as it ever was. However, alongside the standard general market stuff came the arrival of the Toy Story Collection, a series of collector-targeted replicas of the on-screen characters. This series was brought to us by Thinkway Toys, who proudly boasted how it made use of Pixar's digital data for a film-accurate appearance.
Uh-oh!
Could this be our chance to get the perfect potato head we've been waiting for? Despite the Toy Story Collection's focus on accuracy, their potato head retains the inaccurate conjoined eyes of the Hasbro toy, in conjunction with an animatronic gimmick necessitating a different peg system as well as these intrusive legs, eliminating any chance of cross-compatibility. Obviously a cool toy in and of itself and a measurable step up from Hasbro, but hardly the movie replica that people anticipated. As quickly as this one appeared, it vanished, allowing aftermarket prices to skyrocket. Though weirdly, after more than a decade of never having one within reach, I saw two show up on Facebook Marketplace within a few days of each other.
$50 ain't bad.
Shortly after the discontinuation of the Toy Story Collection potato head, a drastic change occurred on the Hasbro side of things, as the style of the Mr. Potato Head brand adapted to the modern age. The charmingly chubby tuber we'd grown accustomed to was replaced with a bipedal legume, befitting of the minimalist hellscape that is the Western world. With this drastic visual shift from the look that inspired the Toy Story character, as well as the lack of any accompanying movies, potato heads inspired by Toy Story disappeared for a while, excepting one re-release for the first film's 20th anniversary. However, the arrival of Toy Story 4 and its tidal wave of dumbed-down merchandise inspired Hasbro to rise to the occasion and release their worst yet.
You have got to be f***ing kidding me.
Despite its overall ugly look, this version did introduce some newly moulded parts which look quite good on their own, but are pretty ill-fitting on this bean-shaped physique. I should probably also mention that both Hasbro versions do indeed have a better half, with Mrs. Potato Head generally suffering from many of the same issues. This segment isn't really part of the main video, but I can't think of a better time to bring it up. So in early 2021, the news broke that the Mr. Potato Head brand would be shortened to simply Potato Head, supposedly to promote gender equality and inclusion. This then sparked fierce political debate, because the entire world operates on a two-party system apparently. And I did not care. I immediately saw this for what it was, a thinly veiled cost-cutting measure on Hasbro's part, because it's marginally cheaper to change 2 things on the packaging instead of 3. The reason I bring this up is because if I ever want to find out about a new Potato Head release, any search for new Mr. Potato Head or Mr. Potato Head 2021 will invariably yield nothing but these shitty news articles, and it pisses me off to no end. So with yet another failure in translating the screen model, hope for a film-accurate Mr. Potato Head is beginning to dwindle. Obviously, with the release of a second Hasbro toy, it's now possible to mix and match, though the results are still pretty lackluster.
You forgot the
Eyebrows!
Of course, some of these issues can be overcome with a little DIY work, but that's time, effort, and money that most people aren't at liberty to expend. As such, the quest for Mr. Potato Head goes on, and while it may feel like every step forward comes with 2 in the opposite direction, as this lovable spud continues to grace our screens, we may yet find the Potato Head we've been looking for.